Hello, team, and welcome to episode 1 of Creative English 2025. Guess who's back? Back again. The gringo's back. Tell a friend. Yes, we are back, and I hope you are rested and ready for the newest, freshest, juiciest weekly English class available. And while I know many of you have your New Year's traditions, we also have one here in the Gringo Minute, which is to start the year with a crisp, fresh, confident introduction. Why do I think this is so important? You can't go deeper into a conversation without first introducing yourself. And if you make a mistake right at the beginning, I know my Brazilian students, I've heard this many times. For example, I have 36 years and they kind of shut down and they don't want to speak anymore and they no speak English anymore. But the opposite is also true. If you do a good job at the beginning of the conversation, the anxiety goes away and the rest goes well. And if you mix up an in on or an at or a have or a has later on, you won't even notice. So let's make sure that your introduction is on point to start the year. We're going to be starting off with a little warm-up video from the ever-popular TV show Friends, where Chandler, Phoebe, and Rachel talk about the importance of a first impression. And how about you? What do you think? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is a first impression? Is it very serious, a make it or break it moment, or not really? I'll have a second and a third chance later on. What are your thoughts? And what percentage of that impression is verbal, what you say, or nonverbal, how you act? Why do I think this is important? Because sometimes I see my students so worried about the words coming out, they forget you can transmit a lot with a smile, some open posture, and maybe some gestures. So don't forget your nonverbals. They can help you out a lot. And giving a little New York twist to a popular Brazilian question, in 2025, who are you in line at the deli? Let me know. Team, our expression of the week. Change the format a little bit, but just click here. Our expression of the week. Don't judge a book by its cover. I think this idiom is present in many languages, so you can guarantee that perfect communication. Because if you say that in English, you say that in Portuguese, you say that in Mandarin, in Russian, they will know what you're saying. Now, this mustachioed fellow has been helping me out for a while now to develop my students' introductions. And what usually happens? Person's a little bit nervous. It kind of becomes an interview. What's your name? John. Where do you live? Belo Horizonte. What do you do? I'm an English teacher. And nobody likes that. It's not fun for anybody. And the opposite, it's not really good either. The person kind of fills their lungs up with air and says, hi, I'm John. I'm from New York, but I live in Belo Horizonte. I'm married. I have 2 kids. So I like pepperoni pizza. I play Mario Kart. And they go until they don't know what to say. And that is not the way most human beings speak. But this musketeer-like sir, he knows how to introduce himself, and I'll let him show you how it's done.
I will go up to the 6-fingered man and say, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
And when you get your chance...
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
And if it's successful, this will be the result. Guys, I'm kidding. But what can we learn from Mr. Inigo Montoya? Number 1, polite greeting. Whether you go with a hello, hey, hi, howdy if you're in Texas, what's up, how's it going? Good morning, good afternoon. My name is John. I'm John. I'm Teacher John on Instagram. The name's really John Healy. However it is that you find that represents you well, that is the best way to go. Number 2, your connection to the situation. If I'm meeting a new student, what's the connection? I'm an English teacher. I've been doing this for a long time. I want them to be okay and to know that they're in the right place. If I'm at my daughter's school, I'm probably not going to say, "Hi, I'm John. I'm an English teacher." No, I'm John. I'm Lisa's dad. The same way that your neighbors know you one way, your family knows you one way, the people from that other city know you one way, the people at work know you another way, the people at your gym know you one way. So what is your connection to the situation? Let's say that you're helping a gringo on Copacabana Beach to order some shrimp. Maybe your connection is just, I speak English. So find that, offer this information, because if not, the person's kind of trying to figure out who you are. And part 3, why are you there? And it can be something as simple as, it's nice to meet you because you're in a social setting, like a bar. It's fine as well. But A, polite greeting, B, your connection, and C, why you're there. And you can end with, like I said, a nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to be here. And you, always great to ask the other person as well. It'll give you some time to breathe, to think. But that, I feel, is the exact amount of information to give in a first speech, in a first monologue. I gave you an example here. Good afternoon. My name is John. I've been an English teacher for many years. I'm here to help you have a positive relationship with English. So pick a situation or two. I put said 3, but make it as specific as possible. I think it helps with the example, and practice. Have you ever messed up your introduction? How did you fix it? I'm sure I have many times, probably when in my younger single days, more than once, but no traumas. I guess that's a good sign. Nothing that I remember specifically. And in 2025, where will you introduce yourself in English? Me, probably with some new students. How about you? And I think everybody has a few stories up their sleeve, and one of them is about the first time you met somebody, whether it's a friend, a spouse, a dog. I remember the first time I met my dog, Ozzy, but it is a story we should be able to tell, and why not practice it in English? So your challenge is to develop a story about a memorable first meeting from your life. And what do you think? Do you leave a good first impression? How might a person meeting you for the first time describe you? Especially important for my students in interview processes. What is your first impression of 2025? Rainy, but I am optimistic. Our talking point today is about your English persona. And while I grew up bilingual, it was only when I started teaching that I realized that I had a different personality in English and in Portuguese. I think it has to do with the situations where I use each language. My Portuguese is my home language. I think it's better for more emotional things, family-related things, while English has always been the language that I studied in. So it's slightly more formal. I work in English, so I like to think I can be a little bit more articulate in English when I have to be. But whether it's feeling more shy, more confident, funnier, you can be more polite, more formal, you will notice certain differences in your English and your other language. So it's worth checking out, because you can, A, be worried about this, but I think it's better to B, figure it out so we can use this as a positive. I had a student just this week who said, "Oh, I speak a little bit slower in English." That sounds like a great thing. I think most people need to speak a little bit slower. You'll sound a lot better. So it's not necessarily a negative. If you want to do a little bit further reading, this is called linguistic relativity, and it's pretty cool. So some topics to discuss. Team, your talking point is for some freestyle English practice. Grab an English study buddy. Make it enjoyable, so you can do it over dinner, over a beer, whatever you think is best, and discuss these points or anything else that you find is more interesting. What is your mantra for 2025? I don't know yours, but mine is just 2 words. And since what happens in my life affects what happens in this class, I will share it with you because it might be a part of your life. My mantra, just 2 words, simple inputs. That's it. If I want to get stronger in the gym, it's cool. But what do I need to do? I need to focus on the simple inputs. All right, so 3 times a week, I will do some strength training. That I can measure. That I can say whether I did it or I didn't do it, so I can measure my growth. The same thing is true for your English. You know, I want to improve my English. I want to improve my speaking. I want to be able to watch series without any subtitles. Awesome. But focus on the input. If you want to get good at speaking, you want to feel confident when speaking, maybe, okay, I will speak with my spouse once a week on Thursdays over a glass of wine. So let's say that you want to improve your vocabulary. Great. I'm going to read 5 pages of this book that I only found in English each day. Perfect. You are having difficulty listening. All right. I'm going to watch 1 episode of series each day to improve my listening. No subtitles. If it's too much, you can start with that opening scene, like The Office, where you have those 3-minute scenes. Great as well. But keep it simple and focus on the input so that the output, the result, comes along. What percentage of our personality can we change? This is an interesting one. Now that I am a father, I kind of see certain personality traits that my children were born with. Lise has always been a bit more serious, while Liam, you know, he's always smiling. He's always excited about anything. And it'll be interesting to see if this sticks with them along their lives. But I don't know. I don't think we can change that much of our personality, maybe about 10, 20%. But I think that 10, 20% is a lot. So it's something we can work on. And your challenge, your first challenge of the week. These challenges are meant for you to use outside of class, an activity away from the square. And your challenge is to introduce yourself to somebody else. And it can be somebody you already know, that is fine, but your real challenge is to open your mouth in English outside of class. So for next week, also something you should know, what is your first input for your English studies in 2025? Formalize it. Let's make it happen. I gave some examples here. And the last question of the week. Who is somebody you would like to meet and shake hands with this year? What would you say to them? How about, let me see. I've always wanted to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger. He just seems awesome to talk to. That might be my pick. So yeah, I'm going with him. The Governor. How about you? Who would you like to meet this year? Team, thank you. If you're watching this, I know you're interested in growing your English. So from my side over here, I will do my part. I will do my 50% if you do yours. Welcome aboard. Let's make the year awesome. Have a good one, and I'll see you in class.